Well, the conditions have just been so terrible. Flat calms, easterly wind, bright sun, you know. I got fed up sitting in the house and I thought, oh, I'll try and get a loch with a wee tiny wave on it at least. Forecasts for the wind to get up a wee bit as the day goes on, but when I say a wee bit, I don't mean fishable wind, I mean like barely perceptible wind, you know. So I thought I would come out anyhow, regardless of the very low chances. September has been, weather-wise for fishing, just a disastrous month, you know. Normally I fish for trout in September and then sort of change over to salmon once the weather starts to feel cold or whatever. But this year, there's no water for salmon. The wind has been in the northeast with bright sun and lots of flat calms most of the time. So really, the opportunities for actually catching fish have been pretty slim. I think I fished one day for salmon. I did catch a fish, mind you, but it was only a wee one, you know. But nonetheless, I got out, I suppose. So pretty much, I'm struggling to justify going fishing in view of the conditions. So I thought I would come out here today because there's sort of wee hills and stuff, and I was kind of hopeful that maybe the wee hills might funnel the wind up the loch a bit and give me a wee chance, you know. And I do have a wee wave. It's not what you call a great wave. So I'm fishing quite small, Clan Chief on the top, Digby's Demon on the point, and of course they're all tied by John McLean, as you would know, because when it comes to flies for the loch, John does the business, you know. Ravens behind me somewhere giving off about something. There tend to be quite a few ravens on this loch. So I'm not going to hang about long. There's another loch up behind this one that I might try and explore. I've never been to it, never heard anything about it. Never spoken to anyone, so I don't even know if there's trout in it. But I might walk up and see, just as a voyage of discovery, really, you know. So this wee cast here is really only to get a few flies on and just a quick throw along this bank, really to get the breath back after walking to here. Not that I've walked very far yet, but you know how it is. So I'm not going to hang about much in terms of standing around multiple casts in multiple places. I'm just going to have a wee run along this bank and then move along a bit. There is a slightly bigger wave over there coming off the wee point, so I might give the wee point to my right a throw as well. So I'm going to be caught in the vegetation every cast, I predict. It goes, you know. So just off this point, I saw that I had not really a wave, but a tiny bit more of a ripple. And so it seemed worth giving it a wee throw. Though it's quite a heathery bank. so I'm going to be catching in the heather quite a lot. I'll line up my feet, you know. There's along another step. I've no intention of staying very long, you know. Again, I'm going to keep moving. See if I can do some exploring. So I'm leaning against a wee rock here, having a wee cup of tea. I've got a banana with me as well. It's taking a bit of a batter. And I've just boiled up some water for the cup of tea. It's not a bad day to be out and about, but it's like a real autumn day, cool breeze, you know, and a bit late for the trout really, but there's no water for salmon, so the trout are the only option today, you know. I might go up and explore a new loch, new to me anyhow. I mean, I'm sure it's been there a while, you know, because it's on the map. So it's been there since 1854, I guess. So I might go up and take a look at it and just have a few more casts here and see what I can do here as well. Just a voyage of exploration, really, you know. This loch's very complicated and convoluted, so there's plenty of opportunity for a wee cast here and there. But no one to be doer, so I'm not super hopeful about getting a fish, you know. So I've changed the flies and just had a GoPro crash, so I've no idea if you'll get any of the previous bits, but I changed to a loch shrimp on a Barvis crippler. I just had a feeling they might be worth a try. Now, they are really a bit too showy and big for these conditions, but you know, sometimes mixing it up a bit is what works. And oftentimes, it's the thing you least expect to work that is the thing that moves a fish. So I thought, I'll give them a try, you know. They're both good flies, both have been productive for me. And of course, tied by John McLean, who you should get in contact with if you're looking at loch flies. He's the only person I've ever seen tie the Barvis crippler, but I think its ability to catch trout seems to be spreading, and there seems to be more and more people here certainly using it. In fact, I was talking to another angler the other day, and that's what he had just put on. So you should get yourself a few of them and try them, because they seem to be deadly on trout. I've tried it for salmon because it looks like a salmon fly, you know, or sea trout fly, and so far I've lost salmon on it that I've hooked but failed to land, but I don't think I've ever landed one on it. So for me, it hasn't been super successful for salmon yet, but it has done quite well with brown trout, you know. In fact, when I put it on for salmon on one occasion, all I could do was catch brown trout on it. I just did brown trout after brown trout. Actually, I've had that twice, you know, in the rivers, and obviously there are brown trout in our rivers, but nobody fishes for them, and really mostly they're not worth fishing for. But I've had some quite reasonable brownies on the old Barvis crippler out of Salmon River, you know. Again, I need to highlight that do not come to Lewis to fish in rivers for trout. It just isn't going to happen. It is complete madness. Right, time to start marching to the next loch, I think. We'll see if we get there. Might not even get there, you know. The geese have been coming in good numbers today. I don't know if you can see them. Maybe you can hear them if I shut up. There they go. So there've been good numbers of them coming in today, and I thought I would show you. It's very interesting. Now I have to do more walking. I'm going to try and go along this ridge ahead of me here, and then down into the next wee valley, and see if that leads me up to the next loch. It's a wee bit of a trek, but again, it's just a voyage of discovery, really. And I've never been out here before, so that makes it all the more exciting. Maybe a sheer cliff face down the other side of that. I may not be able to get down it, who knows? Ah, dear. But we'll find out. This isn't the loch I'm walking to. It's just a wee puddle on the top of the hill up here, and as you can see, maybe you can't in the GoPro, but it's completely weeded in. So even if there were fish in this, it would be unfishable. But I'm going over this wee rise here ahead of me. Oh dear, I'm out of breath after climbing all the hills. I'm going over this wee rise here ahead of me and down, I hope, to a bigger loch which might be fishable. And I have no idea. I mean, if these cliffs just drop away into it, then pretty much it won't be fishable, because there might be no bank to stand on, you know. But we'll see once we get over here. Ah, dear. So, this is a completely brand new loch to me. No idea what's in it. Never heard any reports about it. So your guess is as good as mine. But I think I'll get down to that point there, take up residence, have my lunch down there, and have a few casts and see if I move anything or see anything. Don't know what my chances are. But I'll give it half an hour or so and see what I can find out, because it's all part of the exploring, and it's exciting. I'm seeing a brand new loch, even after 35 years of fishing these lochs, still find new ones, you know. This ground's a bit miserable because it's a bit slumpy, you know. It's been falling away. Oh, there's geese coming up in every direction. So I've come over to the next wee loch over. Quick cast here. For all I know, this may only be 4 inches deep, you know, maybe completely pointless exercise. I have no idea. But what I'm going to do is have a quick cast along it, have some lunch, and then maybe another quick cast, and also see if I see anything moving, you know. At least if I see something moving, I know there's actually trout in it. Most loose lochs do have trout in them, but there is no guarantee. And lochs like this one that you have to walk to, you know, don't really often get fished, so who knows whether there's fish in it or not. And they might just be wee 2-inch things, you know. Again, who knows? I'm still on the loch shrimp and the Barvus crippler at the minute. So I'll give that a try. See if it moves me anything. But I'm starting to feel peckish, so lunch is feeling like the priority rather than the fishing at the minute, you know. Oh, aye, that moved a fish. I touched it and I saw the wee flash. It didn't look like a big fish, but it didn't look super tiny either. You know what I said, it was maybe a half-pounder. So that's interesting. So there are trout in it. Definitely. All I have to do now is try and catch one. It's the first fish I've moved all day, you know. Kind of fairly well, unimpressive performance. I did know it was going to be a tough day for fishing, but nonetheless. Wee shower rain. I could do with a bit more of a breeze, couldn't I? Could also do my lunch, so I think I'm going to call that lunchtime. I did move a fish, so there are fish in here. And once I've had my lunch, I might give it another wee run along this bank and see if there's anything there that I can hook, you know. Well, I've just had my lunch and first cast after lunch, and I hook a wee trout, a tiny, tiny wee trout. So maybe that's all there is in here. Though I'm certain the one I saw earlier was a wee bit bigger. So let's see what Mr. Spots is like. He's a lovely wee trout. He's just only 4 inches long on the loch shrimp. So there we go, lovely wee spotty trout, tiny wee boy. But at least it was a fish, you know. Got all sorts of tangles going on. So what can I say? At least the day isn't going to be a complete blank, you know. While I was having my lunch, I studied my map and I saw that there's another wee loch over from this one. And I thought, maybe I might go over there, you know. So I'll give this another few casts. I just came along the bank a wee bit to see, you know, if that made any difference. And I guess the fact that I caught a microfish means it does, you know. So I'm going to try, I think, a bit of a fly change and that wee bit of bank that I started on, just to sort of wrap me up here, and then I'll do a wee bit of a walk to somewhere else, bit of an explore, you know. So I'm just having a wee rattle along this bank where I started. Changed the point fly to a Watson's Fancy. I had the Barvis Crippler on, but I thought I'll go for something a wee bit smaller and less, you know, showy, just in case that might work for me. But I'm not holding out a whole lot of confidence, but you never know. Well, despite the forecast for the winds to, well, not exactly get up, but to increase somewhat, you know, that doesn't seem to be happening. So that's not ideal. Another wee fish. It's quite a lively wee fish, although it's tiny, you know. Oh no, Watson's fancy. Come here, wee fish. There we go. So, not a big fish, tiny, a bit dark maybe, but that's two wee fish out of here. One on the loch shrimp, one on the Watson's fancy. Here's the geese again. Oh, geese. Well, there they are. Can you see them? Look at the geese. Oh, yeah. See? All flying over. Heading to Montrose. So, I came over the hill a bit, take a wee look at this wee loch. A lot of it seems very weedy. Don't know if you can see by the sort of calmness. Well, I don't know really. Doesn't look worth much effort. That's the truth. It also looks tricky to fish from this side. The high banks and whatnot. I wonder is it worth putting a bit of line on. I suppose if I needed to land something, I can go along a bit. So I'll maybe have just a quick cast from this high bank, see how it go, and then that'll do me. That sort of feels like, sort of, you know, just to see if anything moves or if there are actually fish in it. There might not even be fish in it, you know. Oh well, high speed pluck. Thing is, too, it didn't look like a super tiny fish. Hard to tell, but you know, I imagine this would be full of wee black sort of trout, 4 inches long. But that looked a wee bit bigger. It was definitely a fish. I mean, I saw the movement. You know, I could sort of have an opinion on its size, you know. So oh, tiny wee doubler. Yeah. Won't come off, but it can come up the bank. There we go, it's all tangled because it did all this splashing about, you know. There we go, tiny wee fish. Oh, I'll throw them back in because it would take too long otherwise to do other things. But what can we say? Oh, there's fish in here. But I'm pretty certain the first one I moved was significantly bigger than that, just by what I saw of it, you know. Yeah, another wee doubler. So maybe that's the stump of them. There we go. Wee tiny fish. I'll let it back in. I think just dropping it like that is the fastest most efficient way to get it back into the loch, you know. So I studied the map, and it informed me that there was a fence that would catch me and lead me down to the loch I want to return to. The big loch further behind is the one I started on, and this closer one is one sort of attached to the one I started on, that I've never had fish from. I've only had one brief cast on it. I don't believe it's worth any effort, but what I thought I would do is follow the fence down, and that way it stops me going wrong in my navigation, you see. So that was a great day out, and still 2 lochs to come, and I'll have a cast on this one on the way past, and then I'll probably have a cast on the loch I started on as I walk along it, heading back, you know, because it'd be a shame not to. So really quite interesting and exciting day out, and 2 new lochs. It doesn't look like they're worth any effort, but that's often the way with the exploring, you know. You often find things and think, I'll not really be bothered with that, you know. So, a wee sort of sheep pens here that have obviously seen better days. Now, to be honest, the walking on this side of the fence looks a lot better. So I'm going to keep going down this side, because it looks a bit heathery and rough in there, and that'll be a bit less pleasant than this, which is actually quite pleasant. So just to get the breath back, I stopped here for a quick cast. I'll fish my way along a wee bit, and eventually this will reach the big loch that I started on in the morning, and then I'll have a few casts along it on the way back to the car. That's my plan anyhow. Again, I don't know if there's anything in this. It doesn't look very promising, but you just never know, you know. I'm not going to give it much of a hammer, and just a few quick casts along it to see. Certainly don't see anything moving on it. But again, with it being a cold day and whatnot, there's not many flies about, so there's probably nothing for the fish to move to at the minute, you know. I also don't have much of a wave here, or a ripple even. A wee bit more up the far end, but even so, not much. I think the forecast of increasing wind today has been completely wrong. If anything, I've had decreasing wind. And you know, normally in Lewis you get, the wind comes up in the afternoon, even if it's pretty much flat calm, you know. If there's usually somewhere you could go that you can catch a bit of a breeze, not always a decent wind or anything, but a bit of a breeze, you know. I'll come to here, a few casts here, and then I'll do a bit more hiking. Because mostly I just stop to get my breath back, you know. Well, it's been a great day out. Not much in the way of actual catching, but sure, a good day, you know. 2 new lochs that I've never seen before. This loch that I started on and that I'm just finishing up on is known for being dour. So I didn't have high expectations, especially in the rather difficult weather conditions, you know, with no much wind and cold wind and not ideal, you know. And there's really no sign of fly life or fish moving or anything, you know. So I guess the outcome was to be expected. Which is to say, I had a few wee doublers off the wee lochs back up behind the hill that I visited. I suspect there's probably only small fish in them. That was my tummy rumbling at once to dinner, I think. I suspect there's only small fish in them, so probably I got what was there. And you know, the small fish are always easier to get than the good quality fish, and this loch here tends to hold good quality fish, you know, but they're not easy to get. So that's part of the sport, part of the fun, I guess. Great day of fishing though. Really. You know, what's not to like? Although I'm a bit unfit and lazy and tired.